Thanks for staying with us. Oh, it's a new day. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. My mind was in different places.
No, it happened.
How you doing, Obiajulu? I love your outfit today.
Thank you. House of BC.
You look like you're going to one party.
Thank you. Luxury outfits for
Rich auntie vibes.
Yes, these ones are usually not on the website. You have to pre-order and it takes 2 weeks to get it. So once in a while, I just wear it so that I show what I am about. Market it.
And the jewelry.
Yeah, the jewelry is
like momsy, kind of mommy set.
Yes,
you know how you have the
I'm
nice...
exploring now. Yeah, I'm exploring.
Good.
But we're going to have very... so my weekend is starting from today, actually, because I have to be in my son's school tomorrow. They are doing their career day, and they wanted me to do a book read for them.
Ah, nice.
So I've booked that down. I can't disappoint my son. I wasn't there yesterday when he did his portfolio presentation, and I felt really bad, so I had to show up. Then on Saturday, we have fun day. The school is having fun day, where people can come in and play, have fun for the whole of the day. So I'm taking the kids there to have that fun. Then maybe Sunday I'll try and rest a bit, maybe do church. Because I haven't seen my in-laws in a bit. Maybe, it's not a promise. But those people that used to watch me and go and tell Oga, they will not say, your mother say, yeah, she's going to church this. Maybe, change my mind.
Yeah. How you doing, Mariam?
Fine, thank you. I'm doing amazing. Wow. Yes, I mean, early this morning, the rain was just... I mean, the wind was so bad. My mom had called me yesterday and she was saying that in Jos that the wind had taken her gates apart, you know, and that they were looking for how to fix it to sleep over the night. I didn't realize that this was something that was going to come into our own space. But then, like, I was wondering, I hope this is not some hurricane-like thing, like it happens in America and all those countries we hear from far. Please, you know, but I know they had said that this month we are going to experience lots of rainfall and lightning strikes, thunderstorms, and
lots of them.
Hoping that, you know, that will be safe during this period.
We will be safe in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a birthday shout out to Dr. Mrs. Elizabeth Ifunuayo Jack Rich. The reason why I'm greeting her is because she's the wife of Jack Rich, a very popular philanthropist. And there's a time where my daughter was feeling really down, and it was her picture that I saw. I said, see, she's like your big sister, the auntie, you know, her name is Elizabeth. I didn't know much about her at the time, but she was just somebody that I liked her name, I liked her person, and I was just like trying to encourage my daughter. So I guess today is her birthday, she's celebrating. She's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a business mogul, founder of the CEO of Elim Group, a conglomerate with interest in aviation, estate, and all that. But I just had to say happy birthday to you. You're a role model for my daughter. She just likes your picture. She's always thinks like your picture is really pretty. And because of that, I had to come and greet you too. Happy birthday to her. She doesn't know me. I don't know how much, but I know of her. And I just wanted to say hello to her. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I forgot to acknowledge that Minister Sunday Dare was one that gave the ladies of the view this jacket to give all of us towards our celebration.
It was the whole
outfit. So thank you again to Minister Sunday Dare, Minister of Youth and Sports. He gave that to us. Thank you so much. Okay, let's start with The Nation. Expect institutional reforms. Tinubu promises Nigerians. INEC will be unwilling to pay exhibit certification fee. 90% of Siemens power equipment delivered, says federal government. EFCC writes outgoing governors. Ex-Methodist prelate Mbang dies at 86. Doctors strike, hospitals paralyzed in Lagos, Abuja, Calabar, others. Patients for evacuation. Okay.
Let me start with EFCC. So EFCC has written letters to governors and commissioners, and the letter is just basically telling them that their term in office will be probed, and as soon as their term expires May 29th, the Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawale is on the case again. So he's saying that he has confirmed receipt of the letter, but first of all, he wants to understand what he describes as a consistent castigation of governors by the EFCC. He feels that the EFCC is just targeting governors, and he says that this searchlight should be on everyone, public officials, hospitals. He said that EFCC should extend the same probe to public servants at the federal level. The EFCC, you know, they were asked for their own response. They said, well, these letters that were sent were not just letters that they were not blanket invitations. So if you got a letter, it was because you needed to be probed, and they're going to be probing governors and commissioners. But Matawale just feels that this has to do with like almost witch hunting governors, and he's also saying to the EFCC boss that even he has to step aside so he can be investigated for some allegations he named. He said that how he should explain, for instance, how he assumed the role of plaintiff, prosecutor, and jury, and how he has executed his brand of plea bargaining with suspected criminals and saboteurs of Nigerian economy and agenda, who instead of putting on trial, walking freely all over Nigeria, he just, you know, he made his own allegations towards the EFCC boss and says that one too should step aside and be probed. So we'll see how this goes. Seems that Matawale is terribly upset with a lot of people.
So the sad story, the National Association of Resident Doctors have started their strike. It started yesterday, and that has grounded activities in different hospitals. They said the worst affected facilities were the National Hospital and Federal Medical Center, Abuja, University of Lagos Teaching Hospital, Luth, Lagos State Teaching Hospital, LASU, the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Irua Specialist Teaching Hospital, Federal Medical Center, Asaba, Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, NAUS, and a lot of them. They mentioned them all to Delta State or Gara, Medical Center, FMC, Yenegua, Bayelsa, and others. And they are saying that the federal government is in talks already with the body, the National Association of Resident Doctors, and also the NMA at the same time. But they are asking that they want the presidential-elect who will be sworn in about 2 weeks' time to intervene in this matter. They have tried to, you know, have conversations with the federal government. The body language is not saying anything good, so they are waiting on Bola Ahmed Tinubu to wade into the matter. Probably will give them solution. In most of the hospitals, they are sending people away. They are not attending yet. It's really sad.
All right, the phone call that shook Twitter yesterday, if you can recall, many were talking about it. So, the Secretary of State of the U.S., Anthony Blinken, called the president-elect to have a 20-minute conversation. In that conversation, the president-elect said that institutional reforms, rapid developments will get immediate priority from the administration. And he said he's targeted, so he just told him all the various things he plans to do. However, the real news was the presidential candidate of the PDP did not find that conversation funny at all. He said, how can they give legitimacy to a widely acknowledged fraudulent election in Nigeria that was demoralizing to citizens? By Blinken calling the president-elect was totally uncalled for. You know, he was a contradiction to publicly stated position of the U.S. But guess what? Keyamo would not let that slide.
He responded.
Keyamo responded, said, no, Your Excellency, Abubakar Atiku. It is not a contradiction. The United States know you and Peter Obi are behaving like Donald Trump in America, refusing to accept your obvious defeat and relying on propaganda to deceive the world. They have your type in the U.S., so they understand the issues correctly. That was what was shaking Twitter yesterday, and these two sides. But you see, at the end of the day, we just need to come back and find that Nigeria was winning, no matter what we say. But it was just interesting to see the back and forth between Abubakar Atiku versus Keyamo and this one call that Blinken did to the president-elect.
Everybody will be fine.
They'll be fine at the end of the day. Moving on quickly now to the Punch. PDP Labour Party kick as U.S. Secretary of State calls Tinubu. I just took that story. Confusion as LP factions clash at tribunal. U.S. demands justice for slain consulate officials. Varsity admission with tears. Direct entry applicants jams rough at JAM office. Let me take that again. Direct entry applicants sleep rough at JAM office, yes. Minister carpets resident doctors as strike grounds hospitals. I regret backing Tambuwal to become speaker, says Bajabia Miller. 7 banks fined 1 billion naira for forex offenses, and Matawale again urges EFCCs to pro-presidency officials. Ministers, he's really trending. Matawale, every day we'll take a story on Governor Matawale, the outgoing governor of Zamfara State.
We never take salary.
Okay, which story are we taking the Punch?
The U.S. has condemned the attack. Remember yesterday I took the story of the attack on the convoy of the U.S. consulate, and the United States is responding. The U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has said in a statement, yesterday that they had heard about the attack, gave a breakdown of, the people that were involved. He says they had 9 Nigerian nationals, 5 employees of the U.S. mission to Nigeria, and 4 members of the Nigerian police force. They were traveling in advance of a planned visit by the U.S. mission personnel to a U.S.-funded flood response project in Anambra. They were on a good mission, and their lives were just taken like that. They said at least 4 members of the convoy were killed, and we know that they also went away with the others. And so, the U.S. saying that they are working with their counterparts here in Nigeria and the police here in Nigeria to make sure that those people are found and justice is served. Our president has also condoled with the family. He has expressed his sadness, and they're going to do everything possible to make sure that these people are fished out and those that have been kidnapped released. Truly a sad story, very painful.
So let me take the JAM story. They said at about, Punch did a report on this, said at about 11:13 p.m. That happened on Thursday. They witnessed some students, about 18 years to 24 years, who were parading in the JAM office. Say a lot of them had their sweaters, they had cartons, they had wrappers that they were going to use to sleep there, and some of them have been sleeping there for a few days. And what has happened was, they were supposed to start registering for the direct entry in February, but it was cancelled for, some reasons. And then they restarted it again in March, and now they're not able to take in a lot of people to register. The days have elapsed. I think they were supposed to round up that registration for direct entry on the 13th of May. So there's been this crowd of people and students who are trying to get admission through the direct entry, and JAMB is not able to attend to all of them. They are saying that they used to do this online before, but JAMB is insisting that they come do it manually because they need to get their biometrics. But this could have been, resolved if they had stuck to doing it online. And a lot of them are coming from out of state, some from Ikorodu, different parts of Ogun State, and they can't just keep going back. Some will come, sleep a few days, and then go back and come back, and they are spending, a lot of money for transportation. But Punch reached out to the JAMB, one of the JAMB officials, and they said, they are not aware that people are sleeping there, but this is a report that has been done. I think they need to extend the time so that they can take in a lot of people. They said some people are even coming with their parents. JAMB is not attending to them. They're not able to get through and all of that.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so I was going to take the confusion at the Labour Party factions clash at the tribunal. So let me just summarize the best I can. So what happened was that they appeared in court. If you recall back, we had the Federal High Court judgment that suspended the Abure faction of the LP. So there are 2 factions, the Apapa faction, that's the Bashir Apapa, and then the Julius Abure faction. Now, the High Court in Abuja had suspended the Abure faction of the national chairman of the LP party. However, when the tribunal started for the proceedings for Peter Obi and others, when they called them, both factions appeared in court. Now, the judge didn't want any wahala. He just said, you know what, I'm not going to recognize any faction in this my court. So the only person who was willing to recognize was Peter Obi, the petitioner. So Peter Obi stood up to acknowledge that, yes, I am here. And then he was followed by their woman leader, one of the I can't remember her name right now. So as they were writing her name down, the Apapa faction stood up and said, I must be acknowledged, I'm here. And the judge said, I thought I said that we're not acknowledging any. That's how everybody, the whole thing. Yampete, scatter, everything, cut. And then started chanting insult, pulling his clothes, and the whole, that's how the fight started, though. The 2 factions. I don't understand. We would ask, anyway,
let's say it's not a, leave it.
Let's move on. Daily Sun. Okay, Blinken U.S. Secretary of State speaks with Tinubu. Okay, we've taken that story. Nigeria heading for crash, says governors. Anxiety spikes as Nigeria foreign investment dipped by $75 billion. Zamfara governor attacks EFCC, challenges agency to probe presidency and ministers. Anambra attacks will bring perpetrators to justice, says U.S. Skeletal services in hospitals as doctors begin warning strike. Delta communities threaten to shut oil installation over the abandoned NDDC road project. And don't create rift between Labour, presidential-elect TUC warns Ononuga. Okay, which story are you taking in Daily Sun?
7 host communities in Ughelli North local government area of Delta State have threatened to shut down all oil installations in their area should the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, ignore their 30-day ultimatum to complete an abandoned road project. The communities which are host to the Eriemu oil field had issued a 30-day ultimatum for the intervention agency to mobilize the contractor for the 11-kilometer road which had been abandoned since 2010. The communities are Oferi, Owewe, Ghana, Otokutu, Sainko, Agbaide, and Uhere in Agbaoto. And, you know, their President General, Moses Orurore, Philip Akpuvokoko, Ejomafuve Iboyi, Francis Akpodafe, Vote Iboyi, Faith Abuke, Jacob Ubiri, respectively, said their ultimatum will expire before the end of this month. And they made a statement. They said that the road runs from Otokutu community to Owoveve. Oweve. Oh, God.
Please take your time.
Yeah, streets. And Agbahaoto from Saniko Community Junction through Oferi community to Emevo Agbaha Road was awarded by the Commission in 2010 and had been abandoned. So they said, and I quote, as host communities to over 30 oil wells, a flow station, a Nigeria gas company plant, the biggest manifold in West Africa, numerous pipelines, flow lines, delivery lines in the Eriemu oil field were being marginalized by all levels of government as we have nothing to show for our immense contribution to the wealth of this country. They said they've written letters severally to the NDDC. They have not attended to them. They have tried to get the governor to, get the government to be a part of it. Government promised them that in a few months they will do something. That road has been abandoned. They say if they don't bring their, if they don't see their contractors there working on the road, they are shutting down all the oil wells.
Okay, Zamfara State Governor has been in the news the whole week. Last weekend, we were talking about that Saturday.
Are you falling in love with this guy?
I don't know. I think I'm liking this guy. On Saturday, his people were praying for, sorry?
I took the story.
We took the story. Oh, let me let you take this.
No,
I was going to dramatize.
already.
You have?
Already? Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
sugar. I'm so sorry. I didn't even listen. I do apologize. Yeah, let's take another story, son.
So, we're aware of the induction program for governors organized by the Nigerian Governors Forum. We had the governors-elect and, present governors at that meeting. And we remember that Madam Okonjo-Iweala had advised them that, no taking of debt anymore, and that they should concentrate on debt management going forward because the country has challenges on the fiscal debt and monetary policy fronts, because of our gross debt. So these governors-elect are upset. What? So this is what you're leaving us with? This is what we're coming into, you understand? They say the governor of Bauchi State, for example, he bemoaned the fact that the nation's debt service costs accounted for 95% of its income and issued a dire warning that without action, the nation would collapse. And they're also saying that our economy is basically a monolithic one and that even where we are getting money, we have taken so much upfront. The federation has to be looked at as a structure because states have to have a say in the management of the economy. And this was supported by the governor-elect for Plateau State as well. So it seems that these governors are finally realizing, especially the new ones, that we have been dug a deep hole. We need to figure out how to, solve this issue of our debt.
Okay, moving on quickly now to Vanguard.
Okay.
You have a story in son? You're taking a story
I'm taking
in
it,
son.
yes. Vanguard down.
Presidential poll, drama as LP factions clash at tribunal. Anambra, US vows to fish out killers of embassy staff. Why and how petrol subsidy must go, says Mogalu. 10th National Assembly, tension as APC National Working Committee recommends free contest. Saint Obi, failed marriage led to his death, says Zeb Ejiro. Manufacturers challenge federal government over recession in sector. Hospital services disrupted as resident doctors begin 5-day strike. Okay.
Yeah, you know, recently we lost Obin Nanwafo, popularly known as Saint Obi.
Yeah.
Yes, a legendary actor, and everybody really felt bad about what happened to him. But Zeb Ejiro, who was very close to him at the time, was, you know, talking about how they had met, how he got him to be involved in one of, you know, in numerous projects that he had. The most popular one, I think, was the Ripples. And so a few weeks back, he had spoken to him. He called him and said, brother, where have you been? Everybody's looking for you. That actually want to reactivate, you know, shooting this Ripples all over again, and I need you on set. But then Saint Obi told him that he was ill. He had had multiple surgeries. And so he promised, Zeb Ejiro promised to call him back, you know, later on. And before that could happen, he heard the news that he had died. And so he went ahead as well to say that one of the things he thinks is responsible for his death is the fact that his family had, they had gone apart. You know, he was married in, I think, 2006. They had 3 kids, and he kept complaining that his family members, his wife's family members were stressing him. They were disrespecting him. They saw him as a gold digger. They would insult him publicly in presence of his wife. His wife would not be able to defend him, and that Saint Obi is a family man who likes to be with his children. So when this separated, it really took a toll on him. He was feeling really sad about that, and that could have contributed to why he died. It's just very...
Okay, so Kingsley Moghalu, many of us knew he was also a presidential aspirant at some point. He was also the former, I think, deputy CBN governor at the time. He said very clearly that subsidy must be removed, and I'm happy that more of these technocrats are speaking up right now, because when NLC starts carrying their placard, these people hopefully will come out and say, we cannot continue to sustain subsidy payments. According to him, he said that for Nigeria to exit from the national fiscal crisis, create prosperity for its citizens, fulfill its obligations, we cannot continue to use that drain pipe subsidy to drain the Nigerians. According to him, there is no good time to do it. Postponing the evil day is not going to solve the problem. He was saying specifically, there was something he said that really caught my attention. He said for Nigeria, he had said that there are 4, that we have been locked here. He said, we have been locked in a battle between economic rationality and superstition of petrol subsidy for 4 main reasons, one of which was our literacy rate, and a few others. He also mentioned the issue of the governmental failures and quite a number of other things. But it's an interesting article because, as I said, it's always good to see people like this speak out concerning the issue of subsidy, because when that time comes, it's always government against labor. Others just keep mum. And it's important that we need to all put our hands together, because even the president-elect has said he will remove it too. I don't know what labor wants to do. Anyway, let's move on to another paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. FEC okays $4.7 billion port development in Ondo, Lagos, and Delta. Sunday Mbang, former Methodist prelate, dies at 86. 2,583 Nigerians PCAs lack required skilled birth attendants. Plateau killings, death toll hits 85. 57 victims. It gets mass burial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me take the Plateau story. So this is an update. I took the story yesterday, where we heard that bandits had gone into the community in Mangu local government. And as of yesterday, the number was at 23 deaths. But today we're hearing that the number has risen to 85. Sadly, they've had to do mass burial for about 57 of the victims. And remember also the few people that are still missing that security operatives are on, looking out for. But from the security operatives, what we've heard so far is that 5 suspects have been arrested. Some exhibits that include AK-47 and other weapons were recovered. The Police State Command, in collaboration with MOPOs, NSCDC and Operation Rainbow have all been mobilized, around those communities. They have a lot of the displaced people staying in some other communities around there, the council headquarters, palaces of district heads. The people in the community are just saying this is just getting too much. In spite of security presence, in spite of investigations when it happens, this is just happening too frequently. I mean, this is huge. This is sad that over 85 people have been killed by unknown headers, bandits that just walk into people's communities, shoot, kill them, burnt their houses, destroyed their farms, their food, women and children all gone. Please, we really need to find who these people are. Enough is enough.
Really, really, really serious, sir. We have to wrap up, but let me just take Guardian final paper. Battle in states as 18 ministers lobby Tinubu to retain portfolio. That's the only story that's not been taken here. According to this report, 18 current ministers under the Buhari administration have sent eminent Nigerians to London and France to lobby the president-elect to retain them in his new administration. However, many Nigerians are looking forward to an injection of fresh blood, new faces to stimulate some rapid changes in governance. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's Thursday, it's our Gistin Day. We love to just talk about various topics related to family, life, marriage, relationships, and lifestyle. And one of the issues we wanted to discuss today is about dreams. You know how in Nigeria, we're very spiritual people. We're always having dreams, revelation. God sent something to me, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. Somebody's always speaking to somebody here. And a perfect story turns sour because of just one dream. So there was a story about a man who fell in love with a woman. They were dating for years, had a perfect relationship. And then either the man or the woman, somebody had a dream, maybe towards the wedding. Was it the man that had the dream? So maybe a few days or a few weeks to the wedding, the man had a dream. And at the dream, either the woman, something happened at the dream that suggests to the man that I must stop this marriage. And then the woman was left broken-hearted because of one dream. Lots of this has happened where you meet somebody, they go and check to go and see if you're compatible. You could probably be dating for a while and having a perfect relationship. And then somebody, when it's time to do marriage, somebody goes to go and check. And when they now check, when you started getting excited, they now tell you, Daddy said no, because, So these are things. And when you look at that versus people who, even when they get into, people in other climes fall in love with people, and even though they might feel uneasy, get into the marriages, and somehow they make it work because of understanding. How do we find a way, a middle ground, such that our dreams don't steal our joys? That's our conversations today. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so who'd like to go first? Mariam, would you like to take the bull by the horn?
Okay. And the horn by the bull.
So,
you had any of these experiences before?
Yes, let's start with that. I don't know. I like to think that I dream. Before I met my husband, I used to feel like, oh, yes, I dream things, I see things. It seems like they come real. And then one day my husband said, please, I beg, pack your dream on one side. You will live your life with all your over-imaginative self. Then you come and tell me you sleep. What do you expect? Everything that you had thought about and imagined appears in your dream, and then you think it's a message from divine. I don't think it's serious. And, even as I've grown older, I just realized I control my life, really. My dreams can be interpreted any way I choose to, depending on my state of mind. And There's some dreams I feel that just a reflection of maybe my concerns or my worries, not necessarily because it's a message from, I'm talking about me personally, not necessarily there's a message from the divine, you know. And then I also feel that, I always say this to myself, it's such a bad dream. I'll say, I know that God says his thoughts towards me are of good and not of evil, you know, and so I believe that nothing bad will happen to me. But when it comes to choosing a life partner or being with someone, I know myself, just a dream will not be enough for me to shut it down. It has to be that I have seen something. And then maybe because of my concerns and my worries about that relationship, it has somehow manifested in a dream. But it will not, I will feel stupid to say, you know what, Mariah, I dreamt that I was standing on the island. So because of that, I cannot get married to you. I will feel like it's an excuse that someone has given to me. If it's not because of tangible things that I can see right away, then for me, I think those dreams, whatever, it's just the way some people will say the Holy Spirit has spoken to them, will speak to one part and will not speak to the other. It is, I just feel that when it comes to serious issues like that, please let them be more tangible. And then if you're afraid, yes, and then don't be afraid and don't hide behind a dream. Don't hide behind the Holy Spirit. Don't hide behind intangible and say that this is what I felt.
So if you don't like somebody, you not hide.
Yes, I don't love you anymore. I'm looking at this as we're inching closer to our wedding and our marriage. I'm thinking this is not going to work out for me. Say it fully, own it.
Full chest.
Yes.
But BC, we always say that there's the spiritual and there's the physical. Yeah. And if your heart somewhere in the spiritual says, this woman I'm about to marry you, now queen of the coast too. Who? It's like something tells you that don't go along with it. Many people have said that those singular episodes stole away their dreams because they wish they hadn't listened to that man because the person they felt is the bad person, married somebody else, and they're happily married.
They could have still married you and they will not be happily married. They may just have worked with that other person, not meant to work for you. So this is how I see it. There's something they always say, man, know thyself. Let's not take away the fact that some people are their own prophets. They see concerning their lives. I used to be in that shoe. I'm still there a bit. Where I can see something that is about to happen, like exactly how it's going to play out. And it plays out a few weeks or a few months after. And I remember that I saw this. And if a few of my friends who we started, a career together, till today, once I call this particular friend and I say, I dreamt of, she will sit up because she has seen the manifestation of my dreams. Now, if you know yourself and you know that whether it's God, whether it's the universe or your higher self speaks to you, through your dreams, you would be a fool to ignore it because, let me not sound stupid. Because you may, what dreams and visions, so let me not just put it on dreams. Sometimes we sit down and you just have, get into a trance, right? It's not like you slept, but you just sit down and something just comes. You need to understand yourself and how you receive from the divine. Everybody has that capacity. Some people, is their intuition, is their knowing. They just know that this will not work out. They don't know, they can't explain how they know. And if they ignore it, I've heard people who said, I ignored it though, and I'm regretting today. They may likely regret it. So if you know yourself, the one that I have a problem with is where I go for divination, and somebody tells me, and then I cannot confirm, and I want to please that person, and I go ahead. That's where I have a problem. But if you know yourself, and you know that there are some things you have seen, either dream or vision or trance or intuition, and it appeared or worked the way you saw it, and you see this one because you are now in love, you don't want to waste your time, you may get into that relationship and regret it. Don't disregard. Know yourself. Now, I like the part that she mentioned. What are some of the things that you have seen physically as well as getting a knowing or revelation that this person is not your own? I remember, so when I was dating, about to get married, some people now say, let us pray. Bring the names of the guys that are chasing you. Let us pray. So I dropped names. I dropped about 4 names, and they came back.
Only you.
Only me. And they came back and said, no, none of them inside. I said, okay. I went back to school. I continued my relationship. So when I came back, Momsi was like, are you still dating the boy, the particular boy? Are you still dating the boy? I said, yes. He said, but you know that they said it's not. I said, well, I've not seen any sign to tell me he's not. And moreover, I'm still young. We are not thinking marriage now. We are just dating. But I was, aside from somebody has told me, because I have been having my own dreams where I'm like in a cave. Let me give one of the dreams here now. I'm like in a cave, surrounded by wild animals, like something bad about to happen to me. And I always see this particular guy show up to rescue me. The last one I had vividly, I can still remember, it was him and his mom that I saw in the dream showing up to come and rescue me from a den of lions. So I was having my own revelation, like, okay, it's likely this person, you know, and then somebody is telling me they said, so, but I paid attention to how I felt with him, how I benefited, how I grew with him, and I went with my intuition. Until today, I am not regretting it because I followed my mind. So if this man actually saw somebody abandoning him in front of the altar, it may be his higher self telling him that this may not work.
I got a call from a lady a couple of weeks back. She's 54 years old. And this is not particular to this case, but it's somewhat related. And she said, Mariah, one of the greatest regrets of her life is the fact that she listened to her parents. Her parents are dead now.
Wow.
She was a Muslim, she's a Christian. And she said that everybody that ever tried to date her were Muslims. And there was one in particular that she just fell in love, like the way both of them were in love together. And but her family kept saying that her parents kept saying, don't be unequally yoked, you cannot do this, you know. They discouraged her. And because of them, she refused. The man did everything, years, waited for her, but she just refused to go ahead with him.
He waited?
And he waited, but unfortunately, he couldn't wait eventually. She had 3 different men, and they were all Muslim, because for whatever reason, she kept getting attracted to
Muslims.
Anyway, so this guy in particular, according to her, has finally gotten married to a Christian, living happily. Interestingly, they are fine. The woman goes to church. The man doesn't stop her. He doesn't stop her religion, you know, and he's happy. And now both her parents are dead.
Ew.
The people that saw the vision, the people that saw the...
Is she married?
No, she's not.
Oh.
So she was calling me because she felt that she's 54 and she feels that she regrets.
Listen to herself.
Listen to herself. So these are some of these people that were saying, dream, or even if not dream, you know, you're not supposed to. They just all sort of prayer. They have prayed, though. Divination. And pastor said that, you know, sister, imam said you cannot, you know. These are things from third parties affecting. So the reason we're having this conversation is how do we teach people to exercise their own intuition? How do we strengthen our inner belief? So even if you enter and it's bad news, you own it.
Yeah, you chest it.
I made this decision against everybody else, but whatever it is, you know, is that possible? Or is that a fair thing to tell to somebody to enter possible danger and take it like that? You know, there are different ways of looking at this.
Possible danger because you had a feeling, because you, who is outside this thing that's about to happen, had a feeling. There's nothing wrong in giving people advice. There's nothing wrong in expressing your feelings of maybe, you know, uncertainty about a path that someone is going on. But for me, personally, if someone were to come to me and said, I had a dream, it's never enough for me. I would never work with, I had a dream. And I also know human beings and everybody has their biases and their agendas, really. So, and you just never know what they are going through. Yeah. Maybe in their own life, something is about to happen to them, but they have projected it so much on you, they think it's you that they have seen in their dream. Do you understand? So it is important, especially when you're an adult about to make adult decisions for your whole life, that even having heard this advice and these feelings and opinions and dreams, that you're able to take your own time to assess the situation. Who is this person that I want to go down the aisle, walk down the aisle with? Who is this person I want to spend the rest of my life with? What and what have I seen that there are red flags? In fact, you know what, even what opinions like that may do for you is maybe if you're so caught up in your love bubble, you're not really paying attention. What it may do for me, even if it doesn't stop me from going down the path, it will just help me
rethink.
Yes. Okay, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Let me take a better look. But to just immediately hands off, I don't buy that. And for the person who is in a relationship with you, if the only thing that person can tell me is I had a dream, I will never take that as serious. I will feel that that person
coming from your mother or father, your religious leader. Those are different. If it's a random person, you won't listen. But somebody so close to you, you might take a second look. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're talking earlier about people having dreams and some saying that those listening to those third voices actually mess up their joys. And you're going to say something about...
Yes, so I think people need to start learning how to differentiate when is their worry that is speaking or when it's actually a message. Because sometimes you may be going through things and you're worried about it. You've had, like she mentioned at the beginning, different activities during the day, different worries during the day, and then you sleep. And in that sleep, you see some things and you assume it's reality, right? There are certain ways that you can check when this is a vision or not. You know, you need to understand yourself and weigh what you see, if it comes to pass or not, before you stand up and carry your bag and start telling somebody, I saw you in a dream, and all of that. And sometimes when you even see somebody in a dream, it's not for you to tell the person, it's for you to intercede on behalf of the person and allow God to sort it out. Because some things are just shown, they must happen. Whether you pray about it or not, God just wants to let you know. Sometimes God doesn't show anybody anything and it still happens. So he knows how he does his things, right? But if you understand, because I've had people around me who said they saw this guy. This guy is my guy. I saw him. I heard a voice. He spoke to me. After 2 years, half our relationship no hold. They don't even go to the altar. Then another day, this same person came and said, the Holy Spirit told. I say, hold it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Go and check this person. Are you people compatible physically? Because aside from the spiritual aspect, you are going to live with the man who is a man physically. So you need to know him. You need to know if you're compatible. You need to know if he respects you. You need to know if he fits into what you want. As you can see somebody and this person physically does not fit into what you want. I say, please, I don't want to hear Holy Spirit told you anything again. Holy Spirit, I told you about 2 guys that I know. They are nowhere today. So this one, open your eyes and check. Leave Holy Spirit first. Because I couldn't trust anything that was coming out. Then you talked about if it's coming from a respected person, your mother, your pastor. See, it's not like I'm preaching stubbornness, but if you know God for yourself, you can call anybody's bluff. And I did that in my life and it worked for me. I always believe that if it's not going to work, somehow I would know and we will scatter. So it's for you to not tell me to stop what I'm doing right now because you saw. Let me see first. So it's not about, I looked at my mom in the eye and I said, no, I'm still dating this person because I've not seen anything to make me leave him. I'm not going to leave him on your account. And there's something she touched on that is very important. I'm very weary of seeking for counsel and advice because I know that human interference will affect what you see. Even the scriptures that was written, people wrote it from where they were. If they write the scriptures again today, that patriarchy we saw in the Bible will not be there today because they will write it from their own. So God will give you a message. You will interpret it based on where you are, based on your mindset, based on your knowledge, based on your capacities. That is how you will interpret the message. And that's why they say sometimes we lose the essence of the message because it's gone through different interpretations. Now, if somebody is advising you, number one, I don't take unsolicited advice. If I come to meet you, that means I trust you to a level that I can hear you. Now, if you're advising me, I would ask myself, where are you speaking from? Because I know that a few years back, when I come for that same advice, you may give me something different.
Yes, now.
Yeah. You speak from your level.
We didn't used to watch television in deeper life now. After a few years, now they can watch television.
Yes.
So things change. So doctrines change.
So you must learn to hear for yourself, learn to observe for yourself, choose for yourself, and bear the consequences.
I think that's a good way to wrap up this segment of this conversation because it's Thursday. We like to talk about family and lifestyle. So let's take a few comments and then we wrap up.
Yes, John Sodipe says, is the question here chasing happiness or evading future menace? But I would want to consider it for him to have taken it serious, it means his dreams come true and maybe he has a guide all through his life. Or maybe he himself is not convinced enough marrying the babe.
So Janet says, well done, precious ladies. God speaks to us in different ways, dreams inclusive. Pray about any dream you have. Ask God for more clarification and let the Holy Spirit lead you. Anytime I have a dream. He didn't finish that. Moritala says, Hypocrisy will not let you. I think it's responding to somebody else. Queen B says the spirit controls the physical. Dreams are revealed for a purpose intended to redeem. When it's revealed, act on it, take action, pray on it to attract it or avert it. Some persons are gifted with it. Fiona says compatibility. I met a pastor that was so judgmental. Say he won't marry me. We were not compatible. Now run, no.
Then Honorable Ajamala says, I believe there's something called destiny. No matter who you are, what you do, what you achieve, it is your destiny that is coming to play. God has a purpose for our lives, so we should always follow our intuitions, and whatever the outcome is what God has ordained.
Let me take this call from Tam. Good morning, Tam. You're live. Hello, Tam. Hello. I think we lost that call. Hello, you there?
Yes.
Please, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I've been watching your program and I enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.
I don't take my breakfast until I watch your program.
Thank you.
The topic for today, should prophecy and spiritual consultation or dream the choose your partner? You see?
It's my fault with the studio guys. I can't hear them.
I can't hear.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll take another interesting topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, this is our next topic. It's a very sensitive scenario to discuss. Let me try to the best I can, and Mariam can help me out. So imagine yourself as a woman, and you're in a room with your husband and his friends, and they're all gisting together, talking and laughing and having a good time, and you as the woman had to leave for whatever reason. So you left that group and stepped outside, right? Then you forgot something in the house. Now, that group of friends includes your husband, female friends, male friends, a whole good mix. So it's not just male friends. You stepped out for like maybe 10 minutes or so. You come back, you forgot something. And as you're coming back to the house, you hear your husband's friend, a female, asking your husband, do you think you downgraded by marrying this person? Because that person obviously knew your husband and his old friends and his ex-girlfriend back in the day. So this lady was asking the husband that, do you think you downgraded compared to that person you used to date? You know, you used to date Obiajulu. I remember you used to date Obiajulu. Do you think you downgraded by marrying this Mary girl? And the husband was like, he was thinking like, maybe I downgraded, but as regards looks, but at least she makes me happy. So in a nutshell, the lady, the woman, the wife, she's a plus size, maybe like me, maybe a bit big, and maybe this other person was a supermodel type, you know, hourglass body, very, very exposed and everything, and she's just the regular girl next door, doesn't like wahala, and then his friends are thinking that he downgraded to marry her. She heard that conversation, and according to her, she said, it's been 5 weeks. She's been brewing over it. She doesn't even know how to even confront the man. Does she feel, is she broken? Because, I mean, is it betrayal? Is there something I need to do to be up to par with the ex? What exactly? She's in a limbo. She doesn't know what to do. She's asking for the advice of the ladies of your view. What do I do?
And this conversation happened just after their honeymoon. Fresh marriage with fresh feelings.
Oh, God.
So when you hear that as a woman, you just come back from your honeymoon, and your husband is being asked if he downgraded, and he's saying, yes, he had downgraded, but she makes me happy. How do you handle that kind of thing? Please call us. You know you are advise us. Help us help this case. 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. But even as we are trying to help this woman, would you put yourself in her shoes?
Yeah.
If your husband
I'm
feels
trying
that
to.
he downgraded.
I am trying to. I appear one man this year.
No, but that's how need to define
Downgrade.
Let me try to see if I can put myself in this shoes, because my husband had a spec. I think we discussed it before. You know, he used to, all his ex-girlfriends were from the southeast. He liked them yellow, very rosy, very, you know. I'm the darkest he's ever dated.
Are you kidding?
I mean, like the first really Yoruba girl that he really did. All the other girls have been your nice looking hot yo. Every ex picture I see, I'm like keep thinking to myself, okay, I mean, like, why me? Like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, you know. So I'm trying to understand where this one is coming from. So imagine if he was asked that question in the early stage of our marriage, that, it's not that you're going to marry this girl that she's a bit bigger than usual, she's not as fair, she's not as fair as the others, she's Yoruba girl. You think you downgraded. I don't know what he would have said.
Yeah.
These are conversations that are real.
Yes.
Whatever he says.
Maybe now that he's fast forward, he can say, I married a fantastic person.
Now he has
But
seen the
then,
benefits.
but then he was saying,
at that point.
you know, I mean, and it could be also me the other way too. I could always feel like I like them TDH. I like them tall, dark,
And handsome.
handsome. You know, the guy that just. I used to like them bad. You know. My husband was a really nice, good guy from OAU. Never really liked doesn't have the Lagos lifestyle.
Yeah.
He's a very, very nice, good boy kind of guy. You know, he has a bit of
They had
aggression.
asked you at the
You know,
time.
so if I had them, like,
Yeah, I've been asked to compare.
man, brother,
that
you
time.
know.
For me, the first thing would be to get really upset. Yes. So now me be downgrade. Me. Hey! Get really upset, and I will not even allow the conversation to brew. In fact, as I'm walking into that place, I'm addressing all of them. That's the end of that friendship. You people you don't like my husband, you don't like me. You don't do that. That's sowing a seed. If probably his mind had not been there, he just felt, this person makes me happy, I want to have a life with this person. You are sowing a seed. He's now going back to be thinking about his ex. They were so much of an upgrade and he did not marry them. Why didn't he? He needed stability that I could give, and he came for me. You should applaud him for choosing a wife like me. How dare you? All of you. And I don't die that day. That's one. Two, the fact that he was doing,
was thinking.
he could not respond.
Hey, brother, that one.
He will pay me. In fact, I will stress him for months. He will apologize to me, apologize to my mommy, my
I'm
daddy.
trying to solve a problem.
Hey, wait,
you see.
first, I'm telling you
I'm trying to
how.
solve a problem.
No, I'm telling you how I will handle
Your
it
reaction
personally.
first.
My reaction first. We will solve the matter later. Miriam is here to solve the matter for us. But now, he would apologize. I will not take it lightly, because even if in your head you see this person as not up to what I've had before, the fact that you chose me, you should defend me in public. That's not what I expect. Even if I feel, okay, I like them dark, but I married a fair guy. If you come and meet me and say, do you think, my guy is the best guy.
Simple.
He's the only one I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I am loving it like that. My dear, my taste has changed, or I have improved or evolved. We can change. We can change our minds at any time. You should defend me and shut that girl up, because she was looking for something. You were not doing, maybe I downgraded. What? You won't eat 2 weeks first before we now stop.
Okay, all right.
Miriam, you can go ahead. Don't take it.
Mariam.
All right.
Mariam.
I find it just too funny for me.
But let's put herself in that girl's shoes. You come into that room.
You know what? I'll be like her. I'm likely to be like her, where I'm going to now sit down and start ruminating and thinking, why did he? So first of all, I wasn't supposed to hear that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm thinking these are maybe friends from a long time. And we're friends. You and I, we say there are some things that we say amongst ourselves that if a third party hears,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
all in trouble, you know? So maybe I know these people. They are not bad people, but you know, friends have a way of just discussing some things that they are not meant to discuss, but because they're in a safe place with their friends, they say it anyway.
Sure.
But you're right. I'll be so upset with the husband. I'll be so upset with my husband that he could not, first of all, shut that line of conversation. Because for me, I hate it when people don't understand their boundaries.
Yeah.
I don't care how close you are. I don't care if you are a twin sister or a twin brother. There are just some things that you should never discuss. I have no problems with you thinking what you want to think. They are your thoughts. Think what you want to think, but do not dare. you know, verbalize it. And if you're my husband and someone verbalizes that to you, shut the person up. It doesn't matter if he himself thinks that way. You know, why would he even encourage it or even try to want to have a conversation about it? None of your business. Please, 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 we are not here to play. So I agree with you, but maybe for me, it will take me a few days before I approach the matter. And I know I may not come in and scatter the whole sitting room, but you will just wonder why you have been trying to reach our house, you've been unable to get to my house. You've been trying to, oh, Miriam, I just called your husband. I've been trying to reach him. I don't know what's happening because I've removed your number from his phone. So he does not know that you're the one calling him. I will just do, you know, for me, I will just do some things. But I'll have a conversation with my husband, definitely, eventually. Like, really? You would have this sort of conversation. You would allow anyone to enter. So what other things are they allowed to discuss about us? What other things are they privy to in our relationships that she can open her mouth and say something like that? And if she made the mistake, you couldn't shut it down. So for me, that's where I would take.
There are some women that will take this as feedback. There are some women that will say, you know what, is this how he feels that I downgraded? In their own mind, they'll try to solve it by, okay, let me go and get lighter. Let me go and use some lotion. I mean, some what do you call that thing? Bleaching cream. You know, let me get some Beyonce hair. You know, for them, they might take it the other way. Say, you know, this is feedback. I want to be like the Obiachilu he used to date. I want to be, I don't know. But is there anything wrong with a woman hearing that kind of thing and seeing it as feedback?
So I would say when they asked him, and he said, you know, he boosted the wife. You know, well, my tastes have changed. This person makes me really happy. I love her. I would do everything and anything to keep her. She's just amazing. I know that I had those other people, but this is it for me, right? And then I hear the conversation. I would feel good. Yeah. Then we get into the bedroom. I bring it up and I say, what do they mean? Is it because I'm now too fat? Is it because... And we start talking, yes, I'm sure that's where they're looking at, but you have other amazing qualities. That's what I expect from the man. You have other amazing qualities. I picked you because of your amazing qualities. For the weight thing, if you're ready, we can always shed it a bit and all of that. I would be gingered to shed it for him, right? Because I know that with or without the shedding, this guy is down for me. Yeah. But you see that thing he did now, it will put me under intense pressure. I'm consistently trying to be something that I am not. You saw me that I was black before. You now want me to start bleaching. Why didn't you marry the ones that were fair? So it will put me under intense, and sometimes we go all the way and above and start regretting later because we have gone out of ourselves to please somebody who may not even appreciate it at the end of the day.
Let me take this call. Joseph from Kaduna. Thanks for calling, Joseph.
Good morning, ladies.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I called to respond on the last topic.
Oh, please. It's your view. Let it count. Go ahead, please.
I'm here on this one. Let me commend you guys are doing a wonderful job. And
thank you.
I like to respond to the information of your colleague who said she will make sure the husband will not eat for 2 weeks. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, he said the husband, if you make sure that the husband does not eat for 2 weeks.
As punishment, yes.
If you meet people like us who can cook, maybe you will not come back again.
Now go to my father's house. I'm upset.
The other lady said she will scatter the room. When you scatter the parlor, I will arrange your box and put it at the corridor.
No problem. Don't do shakara for us. We will go.
This topic is very, very sensitive.
Yeah, it is. It's very sensitive.
It is.
So thank you very much for that.
But people deal differently, yeah.
And I also want to talk about it from the fact that this is still a fresh marriage. You know that there are some things you could, in the beginning of your marriage, that you didn't really do, or you were not confident to do, or you were not sure to do, that now, 5, 10 years down the marriage, you know. So I can understand being a fresh marriage. Okay, this marriage is still new. Have I made a mistake? I can imagine her being just anxious that, is this such a big deal? And it may not just, it may not be a big deal. In fact, it may just have said it flippantly and gone ahead. So this is what I would like to say to maybe someone who finds themselves in this situation. You're newly married. I think that you should have the conversation. Don't be like me. Don't leave conversation for 5 weeks, because by the time it comes out to the 6th week, what will come out will be much deeper and uglier than what has really been talked about. It's important that we love ourselves, right? You know, we like to tell ourselves that, but we struggle with it. It's important that you love yourself, you know yourself, be proud of yourself, be confident in yourself and your looks. People who have that strength, it's so admirable that people who have that strength, it's very hard to pull them down. They immediately see you as it's your loss. A whole me, the prize, and you think, you know, people who are able to love themselves and show self-confidence, conversations like this would not bother them so much. It will only bother them in the sense that, oh, if my husband is having this sort of conversation with someone. So that's why people say it's good for you to be mature to a certain extent. So the maturity is not only in how, you know, in discussing financial issues and also emotional issues, mental issues and physical. Let me let you take this call.
Let me take this call. Tokumba's been holding for a minute. Good morning, Tokumba. Are you there?
Good morning, I'm
You're live. Go ahead, please.
You didn't get what the guy was talking to those people well. When a man says, when his friend told that it's downgraded, it's a matter of class.
It's muffled.
It's not about whether she's fair or that. It's more of maybe when the guy was in school, he used to get people from rich or kind of. Now you have stepped down.
Tokumba, I'm so sorry. The line isn't clear. I couldn't hear you, and I doubt if anybody could hear it from the house. I do apologize.
Mariah, you know, no matter how confident and how much of a self-esteem we have and self-worth, a lot of us have insecurities. And sometimes what really gets at you is when something hits on that insecurity. So, okay, I like the way my body is. I love myself. I love this. I love that. But there's a part of me that would have wanted something, or I feel a bit down with something. It's an insecurity that I'm working through. And then you make this kind of comment that hits directly at that insecurity. It really demoralizes women. That lady that made that statement is not a sensitive human being. You see, when we say women supporting women, we don't like to support each other. And we do it consciously and unconsciously. You don't hit. Even if you feel it in your mind that, we've had friends
wasn't supposed to hear that.
She wasn't supposed to hear. Can we turn it around? Can we turn it around?
No, wait first. Let's pause before you turn it around. See, she wasn't supposed to hear that. But if you are a sensitive person, you are not supposed to have that conversation because it's another woman you're talking about. You can say it in your mind that, you know, we have friends that we say, now this one you can't go marry. Do you understand?
Absolutely, we do that all the time.
But
all of us.
I will not tell the person when marry the one, and this one you can't go marry.
No,
There's a difference.
No, it depends on your friendship.
Yes,
There are sometimes you are with your friend and she's now dating a different guy, but it's not that hot guy.
Yes.
So you're like, sis, that other guy was, and then we would laugh and we'll clap our hands, but we would never say it to the person's hearing. And the person also understands that we don't mean any harm. It's just friends talking. I
had a friend that married somebody that I was shocked, like, okay, how did that happen, you know? But you know, you try to respect their space, but you keep observing. When you're with your girlfriend, you're like, wait, auntie, where did you even meet? How did
Haven't you even had someone who will say to you, this is my husband and his big head? Or this, you know,
fine.
Yes, it's not fine. And we know that they don't, okay.
Let me take Tokumba, hopefully back. Tokumba, hopefully the phone is clearer now. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Can you
Much
hear me
better,
now?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. What I want to say, you ladies do not understand what those people mean by class, or maybe has downgraded himself a little. What they are saying, you know, in the university, or when you have a clique of friends, usually there's a kind of class, maybe due to financial background or the kind of social lifestyle of that particular lady or the ladies he used to date. Now he has stepped down a little to go to people that look Christian-like, or a little different from his normal ladies that are from rich homes, posh homes, like the chick, girls that live in Ikoyi, in VI. Now it's coming down to a lady, like she may be beautiful. It's not about size. But maybe she lives on the mainland. You understand? So what they're trying to say is that that's why he couldn't answer well. It's not like he's decreasing and belittling the lady. He's saying something like, well, but she makes me happy. He answered well.
He answered well. That was he said.
He answered well.
It's not about, he answered well. You people shouldn't look at it from the angle of maybe the lady is fair or that. That's not what men mean when they say sex. Men look at the class. Maybe you'll be dating people like Babangida's children and Tinubu's children. Now you're coming down. The lady may be more beautiful.
So the question, Tokumba, is why is marrying maybe Babangida's daughter versus marrying the capital's daughter, a downgrade.
A problem, yes.
Depends on how you look at it. How would you look at it as a downgrade?
The way Nigeria is.
Nothing but what the meaning you give to it.
Yeah.
It's a sort of downgrade, but it doesn't mean in a bad way.
Okay, thank you, Tokumo. Thank you, because thank you, Tokumo, for your point.
Tokumo,
I
love this.
He's saying that if you marry somebody out there and then marry a
From a
Christian,
different class.
a Christian downgrade. So if you're marrying a Christian, it's a downgrade.
No, not a Christian.
That's what he said now.
No.
let's
He said
stick to the
Christian like.
class.
He's trying to
like.
explain that maybe you marry someone who is not as flamboyant in their dressing or in their lifestyle. He's not. He just used that Christian just as a way to qualify maybe a more modest-looking person. He didn't mean Christian itself. But I love the angle that he brought, which is, what if it was not about looks? Let's say even this new wife is hottest babe, but she comes from a poor home. Maybe the person that you've always the sort of people you've always hung out with, we're all the Ikoyi people, the island people, but now I went all the way to,
Kokomaiko.
Okay, yes, and I found this girl. And yes, it's a downgrade. So here we are with our American-British accent, but she has her strong, Nigerian accent, but she's a good person, she makes me happy. What if that was the case? And whether we like it or not, we might want to be all politically correct or not, there is a social downgrade. We agree on that. There's a social downgrade. Money has reduced. We're not in the same socioeconomic class anymore.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you may have someone who would be questioning, like, with all these things that you have, why this person?
Right.
And I don't know how much of the conversation you would hear, but it may as well start with, you're right. She's not here where I've always been or where we all are, but she makes me happy. She makes me happy because this is who she is. Maybe if she had heard more of the conversation, she would have heard him defend her even more. Do you know the part of the thing that saved this man is because he said, she makes me happy. For me,
that's the only part.
Because we were talking with friends. He's not talking with enemies, so he's not in that conversation guard up. He's vulnerable, he's open, he's honest with his friends. And he's saying that she makes me happy, which to that wife, it should show her that, at least she's with someone who still has her back.
Okay.
To find out you're married to someone that does not have your back. That can be
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll take another angle of this story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing downgrade, getting married to somebody you feel like is below your level. And this woman found her husband talking to their friends, and he was asked if he thinks she was a downgrade. And then we decided to flip it, where there are men that are walking into their wives with their girlfriends and say, do you think he's, you downgraded, or do you think he's too old for you or something? They ask you those private questions that's only between you and your girlfriend. Your husband was never supposed to hear.
Yeah, that conversation.
And then, unfortunately, he hears. And that's really what this conversation is about.
Yeah.
You see?
So I would not say there are no classes. Of course, the social strata, we have classes, downgrade, there's downgrading. Downgrade can happen either way, right? I would accept that. However, my own issue is more on the response. When you are married to somebody, whether you are with friends or with enemies, you are supposed to be the person's knight in shining armor. That means when such conversations come up, you jump into defense mode. I don't have to preach to you to know what you should do. Later, you can rationalize.
I want you to lie. You have to lie.
Sweetie,
you have to lie that comes. So
if it's about
asking
your
me
partner,
to lie.
I don't understand. If it's about your partner is the best thing that has ever happened to you since fried rice. Oh, hold on.
Yes, but
she's my.
So hang in. I want to put an angle.
Okay.
You're my partner. She's my best friend.
Yeah.
We've been best friends way before I met you.
Yes.
So if she asks me a sincere question, I feel obligated to tell her the truth.
Why are you feeling obligated? You're
Because she's my friend.
No. You see the problem we have in this marriage? You see the problem? You put your friend above your partner. No.
We've been friends before you.
You have chosen a partner. You should be the knight in shining armor of that partner. Anytime they raise the conversation inside your heart, you can now be analyzing whether the person is downgraded or not. However, you know why?
to stop those people from treating your partner bad. They are relying on your information. You may think they are friends. Tomorrow they'll come in and they have a party and people are talking to them. Even if they don't say anything, the body language will show that this person does not even belong to our class. But if he had stepped up and shut them up in his response, he doesn't have to be angry about it, right? There's a way you make a statement that tells this person, oh, this one my wife now, I don't marry Amo, don't come here. That's just my point.
Interesting. You know, I have an auntie. She's going to kill me for sharing her story. So she married, she married this guy, we call him Chicken and Chips. You know, and because he was a Chicken and Chips guy. And we just felt that she downgraded, like, well, how can Chicken and Chips? Where did you guys meet?
Yeah.
You know, but at that time, she was so in love. She didn't even know, she didn't have a clue.
She will send you.
Until the man finished everything she worked for. Like all the stuff that she had built. The man practically crumbled her business, you know, did everything. So friends are finding them and laughing at her. We told you.
Told you.
You that you are or whatever. You went to go and marry Chicken and Chips. See what you are. So sometimes there are ripple effects of these things. I understand. I'm not want to preach class. I always like to, but the reality is that it is there sometimes. But my problem is that when you are with family, shouldn't you, not external, let me not take that back. Shouldn't you, the wife or the spouse, respect that circle, the conversation in that circle? That, you know what, those guys are having their conversation. Yeah. I am a wife, yes. When we come home, we do our thing. But I'm with my boys, I'm with my girls. We can have secret conversations that you don't even have to have a clue about.
Not inside my house.
Okay, so this is how I see it, right? First of all, talking about the class, definitely we understand that we have that, but does not take the place of good character.
Right.
It does not matter whether you're rich or poor. Good people are good people, bad people are bad people. And we have rich good people and rich bad people the same way with poor. So that's what is more important. The character of the person is more important. Now, about that conversation, she bumped into it. She didn't mean to eavesdrop. She walked into a conversation about her, and that can happen. But truly, you know, here we've always spoken about boundaries. I would not really want, I always say this, I don't need to know your every thought and your every move and your every plan. There are some conversations that are amongst friends. There are some conversations that we'll have that would never be conversations I will repeat to my husband. And I'm sure there are conversations he has with his friends that would never interest me or you would even think of repeating to me, you know. So it's okay to allow people have some conversations, but we are hoping that in that conversation, that person who is your partner or your husband, your spouse, would always stand up for you. But what I want BC to understand is there is a conversation that happens amongst friends. When I started dating my husband, when I had to introduce him to my friends, I called them up and we were gisting, and they were like, we heard he's this much years older than you are. They were in shock. They could not believe it. They were like, what? He's old. You mean he has a pot belly? He's what? And we were laughing. So if he had walked in, he would have heard me laughing with my friends about what they thought, even though he doesn't have a pot belly. But let's say he did have a pot belly. We're laughing about his pot belly. I was amongst friends. We're not being mean or malicious. We were just being honest and being vulnerable and being funny with each other. So sometimes that conversation happens. Not every conversation in Nollywood drama where they are just waiting to say something to you. So I just feel that that happened, but eventually that conversation between her and her husband, where she feels, do you really think I'm not good enough for you? It will come up.
You know, while you're talking, and a different topic entered on mind. You know how people get married and they never know anything about their spouse's past? Like they don't tell you. When you're talking about your friends talking and the conversations you have, you know, there are some conversations you have with your friends that maybe your husband or your wife doesn't know about your past. And you choose to keep it in the past. Now, those things happen. But what if your spouse finds out?
Bumps into it like this.
Okay, you're a cult guy. Like you never told her you're a cult. That you've killed people in the past in universities. That but he's
people like that.
He's given his life to Christ. He's not a good guy. He just felt that, you know, one of those things, or maybe he hasn't even given the life to Christ. Maybe he's just a regular guy. But he just feels like, you know, it's my past. I don't want to get into it. And anytime you bring up his university, he shuts it off. He doesn't want to talk about it. But people, people always talk. And that your guy,
And he
that
comes out
guy, that
somehow.
TJ guy, that, you know, they find all sort of, they tell you this guy used to be a cult guy. How does a spouse handle that kind
Handle
of
this.
situation?
So for me, number one, don't fish for information. What you do not know will not kill you. Just have that at the back of your mind and don't fish. Wait, I'm coming. Then if you now stumble into it, even the scripture says, if you listen too much into what your servants are saying. Solomon said it in Proverbs.
Exactly.
You will hear them insulting you.
Oh, yes.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Songs of Solomon.
Yes.
Well,
in
Proverbs.
Proverbs. It's in Proverbs, yeah. You will hear them insulting you. So you will pray not to bump into what you are not meant to hear. And if you bump into it, and probably you hear the conversation, you could either choose to ask a question later on, like, why didn't you tell me this aspect of your life? I know there was a day we discussed here where it's okay not to tell your partner everything about your past life. We said it was okay. You just have to find a way to make peace with the information. But if it's an information, like you mentioned now, that can kill you, this is somebody that is a murderer who has killed people before, and you bump into that sort of information, you may need to protect yourself because you could have bumped into that information as a saving grace.
Yeah.
You were just meant to know at the time. So it's not everything you swallow. He friended 7 girls, he impregnated 7. Those are things that you can deal with, and you foretell me now. Why didn't you tell me? But when it comes to losing lives, killing people, maybe it's a fraudster, and you had no idea, you may want to protect yourself and...
Interesting.
Right.
So let's take a few comments on social media because I wanted to...
Okay, this person says, BC is talking in all things being equal relationship. There are marriages that a partner is completely far apart from their spouse, affluence and education, etc.
So Dame Ebika says, you must be the biggest cheerleader of your spouse, regardless of people's opinion. Sunai just says, okay, was responding, he said, where did you get the idea that downgrade is bad all the time? Sometimes upgrade cannot be maintained and leads to a crash.
Oh, I love that.
This is
so
beautiful.
Yes.
Ibingo says, Mariah is the only honest person on the table this morning.
You know, that is so true because
Yeah.
one of my husband's friends, he has not gotten married. I will be begging him. Well, I mean, if I've sent all my own friends to him on various dates, you know, for whatever
Didn't
reason,
work.
He's looking for Beyonce.
Hey, whoa.
Like, he's looking for he has something in mind.
Hourglass.
Half caste, this way, you know, he has something in his brain.
Making
This
great
is what-
one
So
Thank
the point
God,
that,
Elon Musk
but
is
if
crazy.
eventually he gets that kind of person, that kind of person is high maintenance.
Yeah, before.
That kind of person. So you, God,
Before.
kill me for this.
Don't say the
you know,
person.
Don't
I
call
can
me.
never mention that. But this person is looking for Beyonce-ish kind of person.
High maintenance.
High
Can
maintenance.
he
So
maintain-
if you enter that kind of person, you might start because he has a very good job. But how do you sustain that? People don't think on the long term. They just think, I want to get this
My
guy.
problem is you're allowed to have dreams. You're allowed to have all those dreams. Aspirations. But so my question would be, why are you not attracting it? Are you Beyonce spec?
Hey!
If Beyonce is your spec, are you Beyonce spec? That's the thing. So maybe you should take some time and look at yourself and then work on yourself. If you need to go to school, if you need to make more money, if you need to spend a few more hours at the gym, make yourself to that person's spec and make sure that you're ready to sustain it. So sometimes, in that case, it is aspirational and it may also push the person to do better for themselves so that they attract that sort of person. But don't go and sit down in front of the TV eating eba and amala every day. Your pot belly is here.
And looking for Beyonce.
Yes, I think you're looking for Beyonce. Uncle, you wait a very long time.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few comments on social media. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. You can still call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Yes, BC, you're going to say something for
Yeah,
the break.
so the scenario you just painted now, I think first of all, the guy needs a coaching session with me so that I can diagnose the color of his problem. That's one. Secondly, he's not looking for a wife. he wants a picture, picture perfect. He wants an image that he has created in his head. Unfortunately, he cannot create it physically. That's one. Two, if he really has money, he can go and ship in babes. There are babes that are hourglass that are waiting to be bought. We had a governor of one state who was going to ship them Ethiopia. You will see, babes, not scarce. So now your pockets, now you determine if you can afford it. Then you ship them, you handle their lifestyle, like you mentioned. I don't think he has that kind of money, and I don't think he's ready for that. So he may also have some underlying issues that are not letting him see, because you cannot say, you are successful, you're responsible, you have a clique, you cannot see any woman who wants you, you're waiting for hourglass. There's an underlying issue that he may not be able to share. And I hope the issues are not, I don't want to mention some names, but I hope the issues are not left to the left, to the left, and to the right, to the right. So, brother, he needs prayer. Should we organize a session?
Well, thank God it's one of those people that is a new friend, so we don't know too much about him.
Yeah. You may need to help his case.
Let me bring in this angle from the original conversation we're having. There's another part of this we've not touched on. Men not knowing how to speak. Because a lot of men, because especially when it was Tokumbo, somebody that called, said that he was trying to defend the man, that he didn't mean it that way. We say things loosely. I'm just thinking, she should understand now. I don't mean like that, But we forget, because we expect that an African woman, a Nigerian woman, should just be able to absorb a lot of things. She's a shock absorber. I can throw things at her, and she has the capacity. I'm joking. I didn't mean like that now. But sometimes we don't pay attention to people's feelings, how you say things, the manner in which you say it, the tone at which you say it, the point at which you say it. These are little things that we've taken for granted.
Yeah.
In this part of the world, we don't care. We just even saw it in different people when they talk to their wives, shout at them, talk to me,
and they think it's normal.
Forget, and they think it's normal.
Yeah.
I'm happy you brought this up, because there's one thing I always say about my husband that I noticed. It wasn't like he said it or anyone. It's just something I noticed, that he's not careless with his words. Especially when it has to do with me. I'm used to people, you're hanging with friends and then they say something to yab. There's always something to yab about Miriam. Oh, she's too long now. See her, I just never heard him say anything like that about me, not even in jest. And I just remember thinking about it, a few years down the line as we were dating and being together. I was like, I've never heard this man just be careless. I have been towards him, careless in my speech or careless in your jokes. And for me, I just have this respect for him. And because of that, I am learning as well to be careful how I'm joking and how I, say some words. It's not easy, especially if it's something you're working on, but it's something that he has. It's important that we are not careless with our words. It's important that we put other people into consideration, when we're doing things. There's something that comes with being friends or being family. You just feel like you can say anything and they will get it. It's not coming from a bad place, but sometimes, no matter what your intentions are, what your motives are, it would land badly, and then you just hope that you're able to work it out. But
some women are
let's be more careful.
That, listen, this is how my husband is. You see, because just like you always say, pick your battles.
Yeah.
You've accepted that, okay, this one, this is the one baggage I'm carrying. So not everything I can have this perfect nature in.
So you see how I reacted when we started the topic, because my love language, my primary love language is words of affirmation. So for every time somebody says something about me and you're my friend or my partner, I expect you to jump into my defense, right? So another person who probably doesn't have that as their love language may not see it as anything. May just feel like it's just boys talking, or they're just gisting. So you need to understand yourself. And now when you know yourself, you need to be able to communicate to your partner that this actually hurts me. The way you did that, I felt like you saw me as a downgrade. I felt like you didn't love me enough. So you couldn't stand up to your friends and tell them, men I live, I'm like that. You couldn't do that for me. You have that communication. So when I started dating my guy, he talks. People think when you see him, you think he's quiet. And I'm the one that talks. I'm actually the quiet one, and he talks. He out-talks me.
Hard to believe, but yeah.
Yeah, he out-talks me, and he would say some things that would touch me. It's not the intention. They yab a lot in their house. That's one thing I had to understand. But it wasn't his intention to yab. I don't do well with yabbing, right? So when he throws the thing like that and he's expecting me to be laughing with him, I'm like, no. Okay, you can't throw that at me and expect me to laugh. He pay me. How do you? No. So he had to learn that. Oh, okay, this one, get threshold for yabu. we have to grow out of that.
But
So you can
yab
help
still.
your partner. He can yab other people, but he doesn't yab me anymore because he knows that that yab that he has yabbed me, I don't do well with it. That is my love language. So he learns and we grew. So sometimes you are right. Some men don't know how to just, they feel, well, it's just us talking now, but baby, I didn't mean it now. Now just talk where we they talk now. You know, boys, how we play. You train them how to treat you if it's not working for you.
You see, it's easy for you to say, you know, you train them how to treat you. You know,
I just gave you an example of what I did now.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's the training.
I'm not even disputing what you
doesn't
say.
mean classes.
Absolutely correct, but it's always difficult. You know, so yeah, I've said it here several times. Everybody knows because they yelled me in my house that stop telling everybody that Brown shouts because Brown does shout. And, you know, and of course, in fairness to him, you know, the shouting now is way reduced compared to how when we started. Trust me, it was a megaphone, you know. But now he has grown to respect and regard, and he has calmed down. But there was a time where when we're having to try to have, because people like you say, have a conversation.
Tell
Talk to your
him.
husband, tell him. My husband will say, we told me categorically, Muriel, I can assure you, I will never hit you. I will never disrespect you.
But you see the
That
shouting.
shouting, like there,
Yes.
I will shout.
But now,
I will shout at you, like there, you know. So when he has told me that, listen, that shouting here, forget it.
But here
Me as
we
a
are,
woman,
but
I
here
have
we are
actually-
today.
It's
You are
reducing.
saying
He has
that's
reduced, yeah, but it took, but you see, I was able
take a
to
while.
allow it. So I wasn't quick to judge. I would just say, you know what, I'm done without it, because
there are different
many
ways
people
to
can just say, you know what, I'm done, I can't do it. But somehow you can actually still manage it. And as you grow older, hopefully it begins to
if it doesn't pain
simmer
you that
down.
much, so let's not manage what pains us plenty.
After all, we have talked of women who are managing cheating.
Yes,
blatant,
and it's
open
okay.
cheating.
Yeah, if it
It
doesn't
depends on
pain
what-
you that much, you can manage. If it pains you that much, you must have a conversation. I don't have the kind of patience that you have to collect it for a very long time. So from the beginning, as they were shouting at me in church or in everywhere, I was already saying, brother, this will not work, because I came from a mad house. If you shout and I choose to carry bottle, you will not like it. So let us, no, I said let us, and I told myself that I don't want to replicate how I grew up. So this shouting will not work, because you can shout on me on a day that my head is already touching from inside. I wouldn't want my children to see any form of that. And he also had an idea of how he wanted his family to be. So he worked on it, and that reduced. So for you, it not to pain you like that. But you have been complaining about this since I joined this show here. It didn't pain you. He listens. And he's changing. Even if you don't meet him one-on-one to talk about it, he knows that you don't like it.
Okay, we have to wrap up. That's all we can take. We're out of time.
And there's so many
Comments?
comments.
I have 5 seconds per second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read.
Goals, aspirations, expectations changes with time. Things have changed, and this downgrade is what I actually need to complete me. I was wrong when I was more younger. Time has made me wiser. Okay, I think this is...
Okay, that is all we can take on today's show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.